Yeah, hi, hello. So we'll start without much further ado. Hi, everyone. My name is Neeraj Kumar Pandey. I work with MB Software Private Limited as an MWS program manager. Uh, I have been working with this company for the last 5 years, and my major responsibility over here is to make sure that whomsoever we are partnered with, the customers, I have offered them all the new offerings that are coming from Microsoft, closely working with Microsoft account managers, ATS, CSMs. Then there are many things, and if there is any new requirement for any customer with their existing O365, or there is a new opportunity, I'm the one who monitors it from end to end. Other than that, I also take care of all the webinars, workshops, sessions. If there is any query that you wanted to ask with respect to productivity tools or security aspect, from a security aspects, I'm your go-to man whom you can easily, or whom you can question whatever there is. Okay. Now, we'll start with the session with the agenda that we have set it off. So, firstly, I would like to let you know that what does this subject, or what does this title of the presentation stated, as it says, do more with less introduction. So basically, what does this do more with less refers to? It refers to uh, you know bringing everything, making it more simpler for the customers, so that they don't want it to run for things for year run after it. So I'll give you an example. Like, let's take an example that in the COVID, during the COVID, and there were organizations who started adopting everything. Like, they wanted to adopt uh, file server solutions that can be accessed from anywhere. Then mobile device management, laptop management, endpoint management. Then you had collaborations tool, then securities, and there were many things, right? It's good that there were organizations who have adopted everything, but the problem was, they not everything was of the same, or from the same, or the same platform. It was from different vendors, different organ uh, businesses, vendors, different market, different partners. There were so many things, right? So what created a problem when when the renewal came in, when organizations started, when things started getting normalized, they started thinking like whether we should continue with this or not. And that time, we came to know that cost, again, cost was coming in, cost was getting a bigger factor. And during this time, it's a high, not in India, but there are countries which are uh, laying off people. They are going for cost cutting scenarios, and there are many things, right? Now, during this uncertainty, we have to make sure, organizations have to make sure that whatever they are investing, it needs to be invested in a correct place, and on correct people or employees within their organization, and make sure that all the technologies are also adopted, all the new things are coming in, making sure that all the things are much more simpler, and easier to be accessed from an end user point of view. Now, considering all these problems, Microsoft came up with a solution that is do more with less. So Microsoft 365, the cloud solution, or the software as a solution of from Microsoft, brings all these capabilities together into one integrated experiences. So if I wanted to manage any user, any identities, apply licenses, I can do it directly from the online portal. Need not to have on-premise Active Directory server. Okay, again, it's not compulsory that you should have it, but if I wanted to manage my identities directly from cloud, that is also possible. Other than managing identities, I can protect these identities. It's not only about adding the users, but we have to make sure that all the users who are accessing these resources are protected and they all are trusted. Now, how are you going to trust these identities, or the people who are logging in? Definitely there will be a credential procedure, login procedure. But again, uh, considering online business, cloud solutions, there are so many attacks that are happening. Now you can protect these users by challenging them with solutions like multi-factor authentication, then protecting the passwords, protecting identities, saying challenging the users whom you feel they are that risky signing in is happening by that particular user. So all these solutions, all these possibilities are, can be taken care by Microsoft 365 through zero trust foundation concept, where you are basically uh, challenging, or you are uh, making sure that each and every identity who is trying to access your resource is authenticated, is being authorized, and make sure that the data is not moving from one place to the other without anybody's interference. Okay. Second, that is the or today the devices usage has been increased. A normal user today is using a minimum two phones. Okay, now it could be multiple platforms also. There are people who are using Android, there are people who are using iOS, there are people who are using both the solutions, and they wanted to have that uh, that concept of accessing the mails, files from both the devices with the same email ID. Microsoft 365 gives you this leverage to access all the resources, all the solutions, let it be email, Microsoft Teams, OneDrive, Excel, Word, PowerPoint, anything. Up to five devices, not five devices. Actually, it is more than five devices. But as a user, you can restrict that. You say that all the top level management users should be able to log in up to five devices. All the users who are below a particular, you can create that group. You can apply those policies saying that these users should not be able to access from more than two devices. And if this not the case, if you feel that that you wanted to see, if you wanted to manage that these applications, if they are trying to copy, or if they're trying to download any file and trying to share it to some other third party applications, those things needs to be restricted. The simplified endpoint management will come into picture, where you can have mobile device management and mobile access management. Okay, so we will be showing you a demo for with respect to zero trust foundation, how you secure your identities through Azure Active Directory portal, and then how from the same portal you will be able to see all the devices that are enrolled and are compliant, non-compliant. Again, you what you need to do, whether if it is non-compliant, do you want to restrict the access, do you want to block that device, or do you want it to, there are many options which are available on the portal, which we will be seeing in within 5 minutes. So I will be introducing the person who will be taking this. So he's already here. So, and the third most important thing which Microsoft, focuses on is productivity and collaboration. Now, Microsoft has been, behind all the customers who are on Office 365 to be more productive and collaboration since the time of inception. Like the 10 years ago, 365 was launched, and they wanted to be more effective. They also had so many solutions in Excel where where they say that be efficient, be more productive by utilizing these functions, don't go for traditional ways. So there are functions, there are new capabilities which are in Microsoft 365. Okay, now what are we going to do is we let me introduce my colleague Tushar, who will help us to understand all these demos and the concepts that I have been talking about. And I would request everybody to please ask questions in between, so that we can make this session little bit more interactive. Okay, so that you all your doubts should be clarified, most importantly. Okay, so over to you, Tushar. I hope please let me know if there is any question that you we may have to ask.
Yeah. Good afternoon to all. I will be sharing my screen. Just let me know if it is visible. So I have accessed my browser, which is has access to portal.azure.com. I hope the same screen is visible. Anyone can just confirm.
Yes, your screen is visible.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, so to start with, the console that I have shared is the admin panel of Azure AD. So Microsoft's Azure AD is its identity and access management platform. Here you will be able to see all the identities as in all the entities, that is the IDs, devices, applications, everything will be seen over here, so that you can create policies which are related to the identities, management of users, groups, licenses, creation of applications. All these entities can be managed using the Azure AD console. So as I said, it's not just about managing the identity, it is also an access management solution, so that you can decide which user has access to which applications, along with maintaining the zero trust framework. So to start with, the very first thing that we need to, the very first and the important feature of Azure AD is the conditional access policies. So I will just browse to that console. Yeah. So and under Azure AD, features, the important feature is the conditional access policy, which will create rules to govern access or deny, to allow or block access to Office 365 or any applications that are integrated with Azure AD. So usually what happens is, whenever you move to any cloud solution for accessing any application, by default you can access the application anywhere on any system, any network. There is no restriction present on it, so you just need to access the URL, enter the credential, that's it. There is nothing else that would prevent or filter the sign in, so that you can allow only on selected devices only. So conditional access is kind of a identity firewall, you can say, wherein whenever a user will access cloud applications, for example, Office 365, after entering credentials, the rules that we set up over here, that is the policies, will get evaluated. So if there is any policy for that particular user, it will take into effect, and based on that, access to that application will be granted or blocked. So for to cover up one of the use cases that I will be showcasing is the related to network. So creation of the policy is pretty simple. You need to define a user. You need to then define an application. What this would mean is, whenever the user will access Office 365 application, the conditions that I have configured will get evaluated. So here I am saying that the condition is based on location. So whenever the user accesses O365 application from any location except my trusted location, the access will be blocked. I am blocking the access from untrusted location. So these policies that you create can be, created for a single user, group of user, or you can create a tenant-wide policy as well. So the current policy that I have configured is for a particular user. It will block access to Office 365 from untrusted network. So to see how it works, let's go to Exchange Online. Okay. So I will be accessing the mailbox using the same ID. After entering credential, I am able to successfully, land to the mailbox of the user. There is no block that has been happening. That is because the IP that the user is using is a trusted IP. So here the IP is a public IP and not the private IP. So without any error, I was able to access Office 365 by the same ID. Now, if I switch to my virtual machine, which is hosted outside India and which has the IP that is not whitelisted, and using the same ID, now I will sign in to the exchange online. So if you see, I am getting an error saying the sign in was successful, but it did not meet the criteria. The ID and password that I entered was correct, but I am not able to access it since the criteria was not met. The criteria was that the location should be a trusted one. So I, as an admin, need to whitelist few IPs so that only from those IP Office 365 can be accessed. So in a real world scenario, this can be, implemented in such a way that in your corporate network, the public IP that you are using can be whitelisted so that once the user comes into your office network, then only they can access the Office 365 data. So once they go outside the office network and try to access on their personal device or any laptop, desktop, mobile, the access will be blocked, so that in this way we are allowing access to our application in a secured environment only. So how this will help is, so suppose if the user's credentials are getting compromised, then even if the attacker has the credentials, it won't be of any use till the time the attacker is present in the corporate network. So if the attacker is trying to, access using some unknown system, personal, any work group system or any, malicious browsers or something, the access will be blocked because the IP is not whitelisted. So instead of allowing sign in from anywhere, we can filter the sign in and allow the access selectively. Any queries on this? So to cover up one more example, what another thing that can be done. So instead of network, you can also select additional controls. So suppose if you don't want to block access to any application, you want to allow, but with a condition. So the condition can be anything like require hybrid Azure AD joint device. So this means that the device should be a domain joint device. So instead of filtering based on network, what you can do is, if the system is domain joined, then only you can give access to Office 365. If the user tries to access from a workgroup system, then the access to Office 365 will be blocked in this case. So you can create policies in a block scenario or in a grant scenario with condition with some criteria as well, whichever meets the scenario. Along with that, you can filter out, add additional conditions as well. Like you can target policies to selected platforms. So suppose if you want to target the policy to Windows platform only, you can do that as well. If you want to further restrict the location, you can do that as well. You can collectively use all the conditions to meet a particular requirement. So based on that, whenever the user will sign into application, if any policy is targeted to that user will get evaluated and the conditions will be compared. And then based on that, the access will be allowed or denied. Regarding whitelisting of IPs, there is a section over here for name location, wherein you can add all your public IPs that can be used to access Office 365. Any queries, any use case that you would like to check if it is available, which can be met using conditional access? If not, then we can go ahead with the next part. So coming back to Azure AD console again, this console will focus mostly on the identity protection piece, wherein the very first level that we need to protect in an organization is the user's identity, since it is most likely to get compromised and in a easier way. So to prevent such things, the first thing that we checked out was the conditional access policy. The second thing that we can implement is the password protection feature. So what this does is, usually user might keep password something that is easily easily guessed, so that which will eventually make the attacker's job easier, and the attacker might end up performing brute force attack and then getting access to the user's application. So to prevent that, when we enable password protection feature, Microsoft will prevent the user from setting commonly used passwords. So by default, Microsoft has a global band repository list which keeps on getting updated. And whenever you try to change your password, and if the password that you are trying to set is present in that banned list, it will get prevented. As in, you won't be able to set that as the password. Along with that, if you have any keywords that are specific to your organization, you can add that over here as well. So both the list, that is one with the Microsoft and one that you will be maintaining, both can be used together to prevent user from setting the commonly used passwords. Any queries on this? Okay, if not, then moving ahead with the next part, that is the password reset. So this is a feature that Azure AD provides, is user can reset their password on their own without the help of IT team. So mostly what happens is, in any organization, user need to reach out to the IT helpdesk team to reset their password or even unlock their account. So this would hamper productivity and it is a time consuming task. So to prevent that, once the user is has registered his mobile number or configured authenticator app on his device, then user can reset the password of his account without the help of IT team. So the process is that user has to go to this URL, which is password reset dot Microsoft Online. This can be accessed from any device which is connected to internet. Okay, so once the email ID is verified, as in if it is correct, then user need to enter OTP that has been shown in the authenticator app. Or if the mobile number has been configured, the same can be entered here to verify the ownership of the account. So if the OTP is correct, then the user will be allowed to reset the password or unlock the account. So as you see now, I can reset the password. And if I try to keep something simple, it should prevent me. So I am trying to set password at the rate 123. If you see, it didn't allow me because it contains words that is easily guessable. This is because of the password protection feature that I just spoke about, because of which I cannot keep simple password. Password at the rate 123 is the most commonly used password, and it is there in Microsoft's repository. So in this way, you can prevent user from setting commonly used password, thereby protecting their account. So this mostly, will the whole approach is to secure user identity by implementing all these policies together, so that the account won't get compromised easily. Any queries till now on the identity part?
Yeah, sorry to interrupt you, Prasad. Uh,
Yes.
so, so we have populated the feedback form in the chat box. Request you all to submit your responses. Yeah, thank you. Over to you, Prasad. Prasad, you are on mute.
Tushar, we can't hear you.
Okay, sorry, I was on mute. Yeah. So I was covering that identity protection is a solution by Microsoft to protect the user's identity from, getting compromised because of factors like atypical travel or something like malicious signing in from malicious IP or malicious browser. So suppose if a user is signing from India location today, and after 5 minutes the signing is happening from something like UK, US, then this can be treated as something, that the ID has been in within a short time the ID has been signed in from multiple location, that too the countries apart. So Azure AD will analyze each and every sign-in that is happening, and based on that, it will generate a report over here, and it will give a risk level for each user. So if you see, there are few users present in this report which are given risk as medium low. So this is because there has been some unusual activity that has using this ID has happened. So based on this, you can take appropriate action like resetting password or asking an MFA as well. Along with it, there is a report for a detailed report for why the risk level has been given to a particular user. So if you see this, the reason for that was unfamiliar sign-in. So users if suppose the user's usual sign in is happening from a particular location, or if there is a particular time at which user logs in, then if in case suddenly a user has some sign in from a different location or from a different browser device, then it treats it as something unfamiliar, and based on that it categorizes it on a particular risk level. So you can ask the user to reset their password, or block the sign in, or even ask the user to go through an MFA to ensure that ID is not compromised. So there is not much configuration required over this. This report gets generated automatically for all the users that are present in your tenant. Any queries till now? Uh, If you have any queries, you can put it in the chat box. Okay. Moving ahead with the next part, that is protecting the devices. So I will be joining the session through my mobile using a test ID, wherein I will showcase the demo for how we can protect users' mobile while they are accessing the corporate data. I have shared, I will be sharing the screen from my test ID. Just confirm once it is visible for everyone. Okay. Okay. You know, coming next part to protect is the user's device. So, usually what happens is user will access the Office data on their mobile. That is the Office 365 apps like SharePoint, OneDrive, Teams. So, in order to give access to them, and that too in a secure way, so that the corporate data doesn't get leaked or it doesn't get into unauthorized hands. So for that we have implemented policies through Intune, which is the Microsoft's endpoint manager solution. So what would happen is whenever the user tries to access the corporate data on their mobile, there will be a pin prompt that user has to go through, as in user need to enter a pin in order to access the respective application, respective Office 365 application. So once the user enters the pin, then only they can access the application. So this is a access level protection that is being provided, so that even if the device doesn't have pin, fingerprint, or any device lock mechanism, in the it doesn't matter, we have a application level pin that will protect all our applications. So this all the Office 365 applications will be protected by this OneDrive, Teams, SharePoint apps, including Outlook. So once the pin is entered, correct pin is entered, user can access the corporate data, but there is a restrictions applied. So suppose if you try to copy the email content and then try to paste it in any third party applications, you will get a message saying the organization's data cannot be pasted. So this is due to the policy that we have set, which protects corporate data from being shared to third party application. So all the data that you have in your Office 365 apps, the data can be pasted among these apps only. You cannot share it on WhatsApp, Chrome browser, or any such third party application. The next thing that we can do to protect is the preventing a user to store their attachment locally on the device. So if I try to download the attachment, I get a warning saying cannot save to device. This is because of this restriction policy that has been set. So if you try to store any such any file that you have got on on your mobile, it will be prevented, so that the data is not stored locally and it doesn't get shared further. If in case we allow it, there is a possibility for it to get shared, and then the data leakage can happen. So in this way we are protecting the data using the data protection policies. Along with that, we can also prevent printing as well. So you cannot print the data that you have in the any of the email content or the document that you get as an attachment. So whatever restrictions that I have showed, it is applicable to other apps like Teams, SharePoint, OneDrive as well. The same thing will be get applied. Any queries on this? One more thing that is available on Android is the screen capture feature, wherein if you try to take a screenshot when you open Outlook Teams apps, the screenshot will be prevented. Also, if you share your Teams screen and then open Outlook OneDrive apps, the screen sharing will be disabled. As in, the screen will go complete blank. You won't be able to see emails or anything over it. Teams screen sharing session. I have not enabled it as of now because I wanted to show the demo. Otherwise, I won't be able to, you won't be able to see the emails as well, along with screen capture getting blocked. Uh, any queries, we can take it up. Okay, considering that as no, I will be moving ahead with the next part. Okay, I have shared my screen again, and I am accessing endpoint.microsoft.com. So this console is dedicated for managing the endpoints. Endpoints refers to the devices that end user will use to access the corporate data. This can be desktop platforms like Mac, Windows, or mobile platforms like Android and iOS. So all those devices that you have onboarded to Microsoft Intune will be seen over here on this console. The earlier console that we saw was the Azure AD, which is focused on the identity part. In Microsoft Intune console is focused on the endpoints only. So the demo that we just saw for mobile was due to the application protection policy that we have configured on this console, on Intune console. So here we will specify all the restrictions that need to be enabled on the user's account when they access Office 365. So here there are options like saving of attachments should be blocked, screen capture should be blocked or not. These things can be customized over here depending on the user and the organization's needs. So once the device onboarding process is completed, which is a simple process to onboard any device that you have in your environment to this solution, you can manage all aspects of the device using this console. So every device that you onboard will be listed out over here. and a dedicated console similar to this will be seen for every device, wherein you will be having a visibility on the user who has access to the system, the operating system, serial number, hardware details, when was the device last connected to internet. These all things will be available for each device. Along with that, you can remotely perform few actions like deleting the device, retiring, syncing the device to get latest policy, restarting, collecting logs from the device. So all these remote actions that are available over here can be done, and these are performed over the internet. So the benefit of using Microsoft Intune is the all these settings, all the configurations that you do are deployed over the internet. So you need not have any dependency on the corporate network, or bringing the user to your office network to get any application installed, or any kind of policy that you need to configure. You don't need the user to be present in your office network. Everything will be happening over the internet. So for each device, you can also have the hardware application inventory, which all applications along with the version that is present will be seen on this console. If you have pushed any application using this console, that will be also seen over here with its status, whether it is installed, not installed, or failed. Whatever is the status can be seen. Along with it, along all the local admin accounts that are present on the device can be managed, and the password for each device can be seen over here. So each device will be having a different local administrator password. So if in case you need to perform any admin activity, you need to come up over here, check the password, and then perform the activity by entering the same password that is shown over here. Device configuration shows up all the policies that you have pushed to the device. We'll be coming up on this later. So as I said, Microsoft Intune is the complete device management solution where you can configure all aspects of a device like application deployment, device related settings configuration like USB block, Bluetooth block, OS update, pushing scripts on the device. All these settings can be configured using Intune. So if you want to push any PowerShell script, you can create a, upload the script and assign it to users. Or else if you want to restrict or configure any restriction settings on the device, the same can be done using creating a restriction policy. We need to select a platform, then the type, select device restriction. Then here there are settings that are available with which can be just enabled by selecting them by toggle button, or just enabling them so that you can push the settings to the devices. So if you want to block the USB connectivity, just select the removable storage as block, then select next. Select the target audience, whether it is a group of user or all user. Once that is done, select next, and then the policy will get created. And this policy will be deployed to all the devices that are onboarded to Intune. So you can create similar policies for all the available platforms. If you go to create profile, these are the available platforms that you have for which you can configure the restrictions. It is not just about restriction. You can configure settings like BitLocker, Windows Hello for Business, or any setting of the device, any setting related to the update, or anything related to the browser as well, any application specific settings as well. Any queries till now, you can ask straight away. Okay, coming to the next part, that is endpoint analytics. Once you onboard all the Windows system to the solution, you can get, so there is a feature which is endpoint analytics, which will gather some insights based on the telemetry that is being generated on the device. So all the devices that you have onboarded, based like within a few days of onboarding, there will be a report similar to this getting generated, which will be providing score to each device, and which will help you to understand which device, which model, device model works better in the environment, so that in productivity can be increased. And insights like which device is slower, which has a slower sign in, and which has which has processes which are making the system slower, everything can be seen over here. So if you see, there is a, you know, alert that is being shown saying that one device has a slow sign in time, and one has delay due to startup process. So we, whenever a computer starts, there are processes which are getting started automatically, which might consume the CPU or the RAM, due to which the system might become slow. So this will help you to identify such devices without any configuration. So each device that you have will be given a score similar to this, so that you can identify a device which works good and accordingly procure the same model. And how many restarts are happening to a device, which system, has a slower sign-in time, can be judged from the score that has been given to it. If there is any startup process, it will be listed out over here if that is causing a delay in booting. Also, the restarts that are happening in your environment, can the report for it is generated automatically, so that you can identify if a restart has happened due to an update, or it was due to an error, or it was just a restart because of user's consent. So this will help you to identify if there is any anomaly or any application that is crashing due to which restart is happening, or any kind such reason can be identified using these reports. This report will also help you to, onboard your device to the Windows 11 platform. So Windows 11 is expected to, Windows 10 is expected to, end of will be having an end of support by 2025. So in order to have a smooth transition to Windows 11, this report will help you to identify which devices can be onboarded to Windows 11. So since Windows 11 has a hardware and a hardware related prerequisite, this will provide you which device meets the hardware requirement. So if you see, there is a device by the name TXYZ, and it doesn't meet the TPM criteria. It doesn't have TPM, and that's why under the Windows 11 readiness column, it is showing as not capable. If the system is already upgraded, or it is capable, similar record will be created for that, a similar value will be seen for the particular device if it is capable. So you can export this report, and accordingly, um migrate the devices to Windows 11 which are capable. So you need not track by going to each device and checking if the prerequisite are met. At a admin level only, this report can be exported for all the device in your environment. Any questions, any topic you would like me to cover up? Okay, so the final thing that I would like to showcase is the device which is onboarded to Intune. So, okay, the screen that I shared is from the virtual machine that is onboarded to Intune. So, if you see, there is a Chrome application that is being installed automatically using Intune. Similarly, all the Office applications are deployed using Intune. So once the device is onboarded, all the settings applications are deployed on this system. You can also manage the antivirus using Intune. So if I go to Windows Defender console, I see the real-time protection and the other settings enabled, and I cannot change it. And there is a warning saying the setting is managed by administrator. So I cannot disable it. This is because Intune is managing the setting and it cannot be changed. Similarly, you can control the other things of a particular device, like local group management. So all the default groups that are present in a Windows device, like administrator groups, these things can also be managed using Intune. So the who all should be member of local admin group, everything can be managed using Intune. So that there is not much involvement of IT team for pushing the application or ensuring that all settings, all restrictions are applied. This will be happening automatically over the internet. That's all from my end. If there is any query or any use case that you would like us to address, we can take it up. Any queries?
So nothing from my end. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Neeraj, would you like to conclude?
I would like to, thanks everyone for taking out their time and attending this small session on, uh, you know, majorly on security. I hope the session was fruitful for all of you. And if you have any questions, we have already, dropped in a form, a link, which you can please help us to, fill it so that we can serve you better in the future. Okay. So for now, this is this is where we conclude the session. So for any queries, anything, do reach out to us. We would be glad to help you out to start your journey to cloud, that is Office 365. And if you are already on O365, do let us know if you have any you know any roadmap for security in your organization. So with this, I conclude this and thank you so much for all your time. Thank you, Tushar, for that wonderful session. So bye everyone. Please take care, good care of yourself. Have a great weekend ahead. And bye.
Thank you,
Thank you
Tushar.
all for
Thank
your
you, Raj
time.
Kumar. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yes, thank you, sir. Bye.